Fuzzy.
Hey, Ridwan, how are we doing today?
Oh my gosh, good. It's good to see you. I think you've probably seen pictures of my baby.
Yes, and beautiful, beautiful. Thank God she looks like her mother, right? That's what we always
Yeah,
say.
right. And it was good to see you the other day at the Justice Fair, at the Breonna Taylor Justice Fair.
Mm. Yeah, it was, I think it was a good success, considering there was another big event in Beverly by almost the same people who participate.
Mhm.
And thank God many did both events. But I think it was really educational and really, I think it was success. We had a good turnout in general.
I agree. I agree. Honestly, I love that I end up seeing you so much at these kind of things, and it's very fitting too. You know, this is doing the Manna Project with you and so many other things, but the Manna Project especially, which has always I think had as its goal not only the direct charitable work, but also the educative work, also the justice work. To say, well, we got to change the system. If it continues to produce starving children, something's wrong with the system, not just charity. And then lastly, the spiritual side of this, the dimension that says, well, where do you draw your well? Where's the morality that you center this in? And I've just really enjoyed being with you in all those things.
I like those events in general because it really shows that we are all in this together. We
Mm,
can preach all we want
yeah,
and people will listen, or but it's never as serious as when they join a fair, when they join a protest, when they are getting together for a cause.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden they see how all these differences drops and disappears,
right.
and that common cause becomes, this is who we are.
Yep.
And that fair basically was another way for many people. To me, actually, I had a couple of people who reached out for me. It's like, how can I get involved? Who should I contact to know about those events, to keep coming?
Great.
Uh, I liked another thing too, that many of the people, they're bringing their children,
Yeah.
which
Right. The campus
shows
fair.
a much bigger commitment. My child, we talk, and
Mm,
we in the house or whatever, and I'm pretty sure in many tables subjects come, but there is nothing as strong for a child, especially I would say probably 8 9
yeah.
and up to like 16 17, when they are still forming opinion and personalities and things like this. When they come and they see and they talk, then they see other kids or other teenagers their age, and it's like, it's not just me, it's not my parents, it's not, it's really, there are many people on this side. So when they go and they hear something on the news or that is not as positive,
Hmm.
they will always think of that positive experience and will have it reflect on them. So it's like, okay, so both sides exist. There is good or bad, because obviously otherwise none of this work will be necessary.
Yeah, that's cool. I hadn't thought of that before, but that is a really powerful thing. Yeah, on the topic of the togetherness and the unity, you and I had a really interesting thing at the end of the event where there was. Do you remember this? There was this guy talking to us, and he was talking kind of about how all religions are the same and yada yada yada. And I was thinking, oh,
Oh,
I don't
the
want to.
photographer,
Yeah,
he,
yeah, yeah. Yep.
yeah.
I'm like, in the moment, I wasn't really all that eager to have that conversation because I've had a lot of people do the sort of reductive, like this is the way everything is, and it doesn't really take into account all the beautiful diversity of it. But I kind of thought afterwards, and I was just you've lived in Egypt before, right? Yeah. I was thinking afterwards about the Coptic Church, which I've just been learning about recently, and the birth of the Coptic Church as a separate thing from the Orthodox movement happened based on a disagreement, because mostly around linguistics, where they said something about Christ having two natures or one nature. And then, you know, the Orthodox movement splits from the Catholic Church over another linguistic debate about what the word homoousios means in Greek. And the Catholic Church splits with the Protestant Church over another set of things. But what's interesting about all of these splits, and I know that Islam knows about splits too, is that oftentimes the split actually isn't about the specific ideology or even the language. The split is that people are worried that when you say it that way, I'm worried that later you're going to mean something else with it. And not, they would say, actually, I think we agree with everything that we're saying theologically here, that God is one, that doing justice is right. You know, all these things we fundamentally agree upon. And I actually think that this happens within religions too. I think that the Trinity, for instance, is one of those things where I think a lot of Jews and Muslims hear about the three and the one, and they say, I'm a little worried that it's sounding like you're going to turn into a polytheist. And we have to say, no, really, we do believe in the oneness of God. We've had these debates now, the Coptic Church debate for, you know, almost 2,000 years, the Orthodox debate for 1,500 years, shorter time for Catholicism and Islam. After so many thousands of years of insisting that actually we're not going to fall into heresy, maybe it's time we believe one another about that, and truly say, you know, when you actually said that you believed in the singleness of God, maybe you meant it, and maybe we're on the same page. That's just, I don't know, just a thought that I had when I was.
We are on the same page, and like we had this discussion probably before, it's how we see our way to God.
Right.
This is where the thing. I think the splits and stuff, this is more about politicizing religion for reasons that has nothing to do with the religion. No split happened because somebody thought of God something different than the other. Usually the splits on who's in charge, the split is which method we're gonna do. And like you, I know I can bring any religion, Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, and you see the splits in it. It was always over power and how they do it.
Right.
Starting, you know, and I'm, you know, like whether I'm gonna say Sunni and Shia, they all believe in the Quran. They all believe in the Prophet. It's the politics after that and who does it. If I'm gonna go to Orthodox and you know, the Coptic Church, the Catholics, again, it was about who rules what and who controls what.
Right.
And because there is a lot of power and a lot of money, which is part of the power and politics that come with those. The other thing is the easiest way to control anybody is through religion.
Yeah.
And that, sadly, humans recognized it long time ago, and they've been using it for the longest time. You discuss things, whatever we talk about, if it's coffee, we can agree or disagree, no problem. But if you tell me God said to drink coffee, this is not a subject where many people are willing. Not, God didn't say that. I don't want people to put in my mouth. It's a good drink, but it never came in any religion. You know, when it becomes like that, we know that most people are follow blindly. And this is why whenever a political idea started to show up, in most of the cases, they brought the religion from the back to support it. And I'm not going to name one or the other, but this is a subject like really can go for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But just think about it. Name one political idea that religion, whether to follow or to go the other side of no God or no religion, was behind it.
Yeah.
It's the best way for politics. And I think it was Karl Marx who said that religion is the drug of the people.
Yeah, the opiate.
And,
Of course, the great irony.
some drugs are good, some drugs are bad. So depending on how you drug yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
No, but I mean, then of course the great irony is that even as it's used as a tool, and it can be used as a tool to be divisive and to divide people and get people to go against their best interests, still at the heart and the core of it, and I see this in our work together, and I see it when we show up at the same events, is this mutual tapping into something that feels truly transcendent, that's bigger than any power play, than any sort of schema, and that's about what's right and what's true and what's just. And I trust in that, and I would go so far as to say I trust in my Muslim brothers and sisters who are on the Manna Project, that the reason why they show up for this stuff and they work is because they're tapping into that too, which is why I trust them, and I trust that they're going to show up, and I trust that they're going to make their commitments, and that I think puts me in a deeper level of kinship with them than with people, even in my own faith, who would tell me that I need to be divided from them. You know what?
I agree. And just going with what you just said, and you probably heard me say this before, we need to realize that the enemy is one and it's the same. Once we look at each other and trust each other and unite against that enemy, that's when good becomes victor and when we accomplish great things. I name any cause and I will tell you the enemy is the same. And I'm not going to go into saying any detail, but it's always the same group, the same theology, the same ideology, even if it looks different in color, in place, in country, in whatever, it all goes behind to the same evil.
Yep.
And when we allow it to divide us and to take over us, that's when we become weak and we lose. And this is why in many of those protests, you feel that power. Because we are there, we recognize that enemy, and we are there to tell them that we are together. Then in other occasions, when we separate or when we allow it to come through us, that's when we become weak.
Yep.
And
yeah, I agree.
Hopefully we keep the unity.
you hit the nail on the head too when you say recognize it, because it does look different in so many different characteristics, because ultimately I think it's unpopular. I think that once it is exposed and is bald and it's just plainly evil, no one really wants to be a part of that. I fundamentally believe that people would so much rather be oriented towards good, and they want good to triumph in the world. So
we believe, as Muslims, we believe people are born good. It's parents and society that changes them, that change them to who they are when they grow up. Nobody is born with bad instincts. They get trained, circumstances, even as children, at 1, at 2. You think, oh, they're too young. No, they see, they learn. And if a child is selfish, it's not because the child is bad, it's because he saw or he was allowed selfishness. And you can measure this on many other things. So good is the origin, good is the essential behind everything. And I believe in God, we believe in God, and we believe God is good, and he is the first, and he is the last, and he is in between. And I say he because it's just the way we talk. God is the first, God is the end, and God is everything in between. And that simply means good. Now, if somebody goes the other way or something, it's for many other reasons.
Yeah.
But it's not really our nature. And don't forget also that God created us in his image. And God is, he is behind, again, God is behind all these things. So we know, and I strongly believe, if bad or evil happens, it has nothing to do with good. It has nothing to do with God. It's just that specific society or a group just strayed.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will stick to God.
Yeah. Yep. The Bible is full of images of returning to God. So it's never too late. It's never too late to recognize it. Hey, I want to keep this short, but that was amazing. It was so great to hear from you, and I always learn something, and it's good to see you again, my friend.
Well, like I said, in your 5 years, ordination last week, as old as I am and as young as you are, you just always manage to teach me something. I don't know who learns more from the other, me from you or you from me, but God bless you. You have a lot of wisdom as long as you listen to me, I guess.
Keep your sense of humor, Fuzzy.
Hey, I can't live without it. I know we have so much going on. You
Okay.
need the humor. Otherwise,
Levity. Well, I hope all of you at home who are watching this too. All right. Hey, be well, buddy. I will talk to you again soon.
God bless. God bless. I'll see you, my friend.
God bless.
Give my love to Kara and the kids and to everybody.
Will do. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Shalom. Bye-bye.